If you're listening to this, there's a reason. For a long time, I genuinely believed something was wrong with me. Not with the world, not with the teachings, but with me. Because I could see that there was something real behind all of this. Something powerful. I could feel it. When I first came across Neville Goddard and Joseph Murphy, it didn't feel like fiction. It didn't feel like wishful thinking. It felt true, like I was being reminded of something I had always known, but never fully understood. And that feeling pulled me in. I became obsessed. Not casually interested, obsessed. I started reading everything I could find, listening to lectures, watching videos late into the night, trying to absorb every detail, Neville's teachings about imagination, Murphy's explanation of the subconscious mind, and for the first time, I felt like I had found something real, something that could actually change my life. I was certain. Now it was going to work. But it didn't. At least, not the way I expected. And that's where the real struggle began. Because I stopped being someone who was learning and became someone who was trying hard, trying seriously, trying consistently. I began with visualization. I would sit down and carefully construct scenes in my mind, just like Neville described. Short scenes, looped again and again, always implying that my desire was already fulfilled. I imagined conversations, achievements, moments where everything had already worked out. And sometimes, it actually felt real. There were moments where emotion would rise, moments where I believed, just for a second, that I was already there. But then I would open my eyes, and everything would still be the same. Same room, same life, same reality. And that contrast started to hurt, because it felt like I could touch the life I wanted in my imagination, but I couldn't hold it. So I told myself something simple. Maybe I'm not doing it right. That's when I moved to affirmations. Joseph Murphy said that repetition impresses the subconscious mind, especially when the conscious mind is relaxed. So I committed fully. I repeated phrases constantly. I already have it. My life is exactly how I want it. I am the person I want to be. Morning, afternoon, night, again and again. And for a while, it felt productive. Like I was doing something, like I was moving forward. But deep down, there was a disconnect. Because even while I was repeating those words, I could feel something else. A quiet resistance, a subtle contradiction. And Murphy explains this clearly. The subconscious mind does not respond to words alone. It responds to what is accepted as true. And I wasn't accepting it. I was repeating without believing, saying without embodying. And that difference is everything. Still, I kept going, because I believed the answer had to be there somewhere. Maybe I needed more repetition, more discipline, a better technique. Then I discovered SATS, the state akin to sleep. Neville described it as the ideal state for impressing the subconscious, a state where the body is deeply relaxed, and the mind becomes highly receptive. So I went even deeper. I became more precise, more controlled. I would lie completely still, loop the same scene over and over, focus on every detail, every movement, every sensation, trying to make it perfect. But slowly, something changed. What was supposed to feel natural became mechanical. What was supposed to feel effortless became pressure. And every time I felt like I didn't do it perfectly, I thought I failed. I thought I lost progress. I thought I had to start again. That was my lowest point. Because now, I wasn't just frustrated. I was exhausted. I felt like I was trapped in a loop. Try, doubt, adjust. restart again and again and again, and then something deeper appeared, a quiet feeling, but heavy. Doubt. Not doubt in the teachings, not doubt in Neville, not doubt in Murphy, doubt in myself. I started asking questions I didn't want to ask. Why does this seem to work for others, but not for me? What am I missing? Why can't I get this right? And that question, that constant questioning, was the biggest clue, even though I couldn't see it yet. Because one day, in the middle of all that effort, I stopped, completely. And for the first time, I was honest. I asked myself something simple. What am I actually doing? And the answer was uncomfortable. I wasn't assuming. I wasn't embodying. I wasn't living in the end. I was waiting for results, waiting for proof, waiting for something to happen. And that realization hit hard. Because if I'm waiting, then I'm not in the state of having. And if I'm not in the state of having, then everything I'm doing is coming from lack. And suddenly, Neville's words made sense in a completely different way. Live in the end. Not visit it occasionally. Not imagine it once. Not practice it like a technique. But live from it. And Joseph Murphy confirmed it in a way that made it undeniable. The subconscious mind accepts what you believe to be true. Now. Not what you hope for. Not what you're trying to get. But what you emotionally accept as reality. That changed everything. Because in that moment, all the techniques I'd been using finally made sense. Visualization, affirmations, SATS. They were never the power. They were just attempts to reach a state that I was never fully committing to. And that state had nothing to do with effort, nothing to do with perfection, nothing to do with repetition. It had everything to do with one thing: acceptance. So I stopped asking, what should I do? And I started asking something else. What am I assuming right now? And that question exposed everything, because no matter what I was doing on the outside, internally, I was always assuming something. Either it's already mine, or I'm still trying to get it. And for the first time, I saw clearly where I was. So instead of adding more effort, I made a decision. Not a new technique, not a better method. A decision. I chose to accept that it was already done, and then I finally saw it. Assume. It is done. And I want to make this very clear before going any further. After everything I've shared here, I don't claim to have reached mastery. I've experienced real shifts, real results, and in the next videos, I will share some of those manifestations and personal experiences with you. But I am still learning, every single day, because this realization, this understanding, is not something you master once and finish. It's something you grow into, refine, and deepen over time. And that's the beauty of it. We adjust, we learn, and we evolve together. No one here is above the process. We are all aligning, step by step, moving in the same direction, toward clarity, toward awareness, toward that higher level of self-mastery. Always growing, always refining, always moving toward perfection. That's it. Not perform it, not repeat it endlessly, not visit it occasionally. Assume it as your reality, as your truth, as your starting point. Because once it is truly assumed, there is no more waiting, no more searching, no more trying to make it happen. You are already there. And from that place, everything begins to unfold. So now, I don't wake up asking, what technique should I use today? I wake up asking, what am I assuming right now? And if the answer doesn't match what I want, I don't panic, I don't restart, I don't search for something new. I simply return back to the assumption, back to the state, back to the knowing. Because now I understand something I wish I'd understood earlier. I was never trying to make anything happen. I was only learning how to stop denying that it already had. And if there's one thing my entire journey taught me, after all the effort, all the frustration, all the confusion, all the searching, it's this. Your only job is to assume it is already done, now, already, finished, and remain there, because from that state, manifestation is not a possibility. It's not luck. It's not chance. It is law. Master your mind. Master your reality. Welcome to the Empire.